What's up, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram? Welcome to Wise Guys Sports. Everybody remember go follow Wise Guys on Twitter at Wise Guys underscore H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys, Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. Want to come on here and preview NFL Week 18 is upon us. Want to talk about some of these big time pivotal games in Week 18. Panthers, Bucks at 4:30 on ESPN, and in the nightcap on ESPN for the number one seed. It's the Seattle Seahawks and San Francisco 49ers. Sam Darnold versus Brock Purdy. Cannot wait for that matchup tonight. And then tomorrow night, games 272 of 272 games. AFC North battle. Ravens, Steelers, Lamar, Rodgers, Harbaugh, Tomlin. It doesn't get much bigger than that. So I want to talk about a few of these games real quick. But y'all remember to go and follow Wise Guys on all social media platforms. Wise Guys Sports. Go and follow me on all social media platforms. Chime in, give me your thoughts on NFL Week 18. But let's start off in the NFC South as the Carolina Panthers are traveling to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 4:30 p.m. kickoff on ESPN/ABC. And the playoff scenarios are if the Panthers win this game, they win the NFC South outright. But if the Bucs win this game, they need help. They would need the Saints to beat the Falcons tomorrow in that matchup in order for the Buccaneers to actually make the playoffs. So even if the Panthers lose today against the Buccaneers, if the Falcons beat the Saints tomorrow, the Panthers would win the NFC South outright. So big matchup between two teams who I feel like have both went in the opposite directions of the two teams that's actually at the bottom. Like, when you look at the NFC South, the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons both have played better recently than the Carolina Panthers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is crazy. But somehow, the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to get an opportunity to play for the NFC South crown this afternoon in Tampa. And when I look at this matchup, let's start off with the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers, they're led by quarterback Bryce Young. And this is Bryce Young's third year as starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. And I look at Bryce Young this year, 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, over 2,700 passing yards this year. But sometimes when I think about Bryce Young and I watch him play, he's very inconsistent. He's inconsistent. And there are other quarterbacks that I've watched over the last 3 years since Bryce Young came into the NFL that play the quarterback position at a more consistent level than Bryce Young. The Jordan Loves of the world, the CJ Strouds of the world, the Bo Nix of the world. I know Bo Nix, statistically, his numbers have not been great this year, but the Broncos are about to win the AFC West, and they are going to be a top 2 seed more than likely in the AFC. So I think Bo Nix has been more consistent than Bryce Young. Jordan Love has been more consistent than Bryce Young. CJ Stroud has been more consistent than Bryce Young. Hell, last year, I thought Jaden Daniels in his rookie season, he had a better rookie season than I've seen in all 3 of Bryce Young's seasons as the Carolina Panthers quarterback. And even Brock Purdy, like there's multiple quarterbacks who are more consistent than Bryce Young is. And so to me, when you talk about whether or not the Panthers should invest in Bryce Young being their future franchise quarterback, I still think Bryce Young has something to prove. I still think he has something to prove. And the thing is with Bryce Young, we are in a rare case where he's not even in the playoffs yet. But if he were to get the Panthers to the playoffs, to me, the Panthers, they don't match up or have the caliber of roster like the Eagles have in the NFC, like the Seahawks have in the NFC, like even the Packers have in the NFC, or the Rams. The Panthers don't have a roster like the Rams, the Packers, the Eagles, or the Seahawks. So if Bryce Young was able to get the Panthers to the playoffs, to me, that would be a major accomplishment in his young 3-year career so far. He doesn't have to even win a playoff game. I'm not going to judge Bryce Young on whether or not he wins a playoff game next week. I'm going to judge Bryce Young if he does not get the Carolina Panthers at least to the playoffs. This is a great opportunity for Bryce Young. But again, if you ask me the question, do I believe Bryce Young has earned the right to be the future franchise quarterback for the Carolina Panthers? I would say absolutely not. He has more to prove. And I would let him know, hey, you got more to prove next season. Now, I would bring Bryce Young back, but he's been very, very inconsistent. 2 weeks ago against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Panthers beat the Bucs in Carolina. And in that game, Bryce Young had over 190 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. And then last week, they go up against the Seattle Seahawks, and Bryce Young doesn't even have 60 yards passing. He didn't even have 60 yards passing last week. So to me, he's been very, very, very inconsistent. He's been inconsistent. And so we have to evaluate these quarterbacks the proper way. And to me, the Jordan Loves of the world, the C.J. Strouds of the world, the Brock Purdy's of the world, the Jaden Daniels of the world, hell, even Caleb Williams, and I'm not a fan of Caleb like that. Caleb has shown more to me in 2 seasons than I've seen in Bryce Young in 3 seasons. So I got to see more from Bryce Young before I could actually say he should be the future franchise quarterback for the Carolina Panthers moving forward. But I also think the Panthers this year, they didn't have high expectations. The expectations were not high for the Carolina Panthers when you look at their roster. So if they make the playoffs, that would be a huge, huge accomplishment for David Canales and that entire Carolina Panthers organization. Now, on the flip side, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Bucs have been a mess. They've been a mess. They started off the season 6-2. They are 1-7 in their last 8 games. The wheels have fallen off of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they have unraveled as a football team. I mean, defensively, they get shredded week in and week out. Quentin Ewers last week for the Miami Dolphins, he replaced Tua after McDaniels benched Tua a few weeks ago. Quentin Ewers went out there and had a great performance against the Buccaneers defense last week in Miami. I mean, there was moments in that game where I started thinking, damn, is Ewers really this good? Or are the Buccaneers this bad defensively? I mean, it's bad. And the thing is, the way their approach is defensively, head coach Todd Bowles, he likes to have an aggressive approach defensively. And so he leaves his corners and safeties out on an island. And to me, the Buccaneers secondary is not very good. It's not very good. And that's why they give up so many points as a defense. But Todd Bowles, the head coach, he has that aggressive approach. And to me, he leaves his secondary in harm's way because they give up a lot of big plays in the passing game. And that's been one of their biggest issues. Another big issue, Baker Mayfield. I felt like at the beginning of the season, Baker Mayfield was a legitimate NFL MVP candidate. And Mayfield has fallen off. Now, I do believe Mayfield is injured. I think Baker's playing with a lot of injuries right now. And I think that entire offense, they've been having players who have been in and out of the lineup all year. They've had players in and out of the lineup all year. Mike Evans has missed some time. Chris Godwin has missed some time. Bucky Irvin has missed some time. Tristan Wirfs, their elite offensive tackle, he has also missed some time. And so the Buccaneers have also been dealing with injuries as well as a football team. But Baker Mayfield has proven himself so much so to where he is a bona fide franchise quarterback. He's a franchise quarterback, and he is the future for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers moving forward. But it would be a major, major disappointment if the Buccaneers do not win the NFC South and punch their ticket to the playoffs. See, the difference in the Panthers and the Bucs is I didn't have high expectations for the Panthers coming into the season. I didn't have expectations. My expectations were not high for the Panthers, but I had high expectations for the Bucs. I mean, I'm looking at the Bucs. Baker Mayfield at quarterback, Bucky Irvin and Rachaad White at running back, at receiver. You got Mike Evans, who's a future Hall of Fame receiver. You got Chris Godwin, who's a solid number 2 receiver in that Bucs offense. Okay, you got Emeka Egbuka, who started off the season great. I mean, Emeka Egbuka was balling at the beginning of the season. He was balling, but Jackson Smith and Jigba, to me, ended up having the better season than Emeka Egbuka. But Emeka Egbuka was hot to start the season for the Buccaneers. And so to me, if the Bucs missed the playoffs, that would be a major disappointment in comparison to the Carolina Panthers, who I didn't have high expectations for coming into the season. And I thought the Panthers, they've had some big-time wins this year. They really, really have. They beat the Packers earlier this season. They beat the LA Rams a few weeks ago in Carolina. The Panthers have had some big-time wins this year. But to me, they have exceeded expectations to even be in this position. They've exceeded expectations. And so if they were to make the playoffs, to me, that would be a win for the Carolina Panthers as an organization, just making the playoffs. But I wouldn't have high expectations for them in the playoffs. Buccaneers are a different story. They got talent, and they are a team that has, honestly, they have pretty much not dominated, but they've pretty much won the NFC South multiple seasons, especially in the Tom Brady era. In the Tom Brady era, the Bucs won the NFC South year after year after year. But that's going to be a big-time matchup tonight in Tampa. But I think the Buccaneers are going to somehow, some way, outlast the Panthers tonight. I believe Baker Mayfield will outplay Bryce Young. And I'm rolling with the Buccaneers to beat the Panthers tonight in Tampa. Bucs 28, Panthers 27. But it's going to be a great matchup on ABC/ESPN to see who wins the NFC South. But remember, even if the Bucs win tonight, there's a chance that the Panthers could still win the division if the Falcons beat the Saints tomorrow. But if the Bucs win tonight and the Saints beat the Falcons tomorrow, the Bucs will be NFC South champions. But, man, it's going to be a great matchup. Bryce Young versus Baker Mayfield, big-time matchup. Now, let's talk about the matchup tonight in the NFC West as Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks are traveling to the Bay to take on Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. It's an NFC West battle, and this game will determine who represents the NFC as the number 1 seed as we head into the playoffs next week. Big time game. Let's start off with the Seattle Seahawks. This is the second consecutive year and second opportunity for Sam Darnold to win a game in which his team has an opportunity to win the division and be the number 1 overall seed in that particular conference. Last year, Sam Darnold in Minnesota, he was going up against Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Sam Darnold was the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings last year. They had an opportunity to beat the Detroit Lions in Week 18 and win the NFC North and have the road to the Super Bowl have to go through Minnesota. And Sam Darnold failed miserably. He failed miserably in that game. And Jared Goff outplayed Sam Darnold in that particular game. And then y'all know the rest of the story. The Vikings, they fell to the 5th seed in the NFC last year. And Sam Darnold and the Vikings had to go to LA and play Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams. And the LA Rams and Matthew Stafford dominated Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings last year on Wild Card Weekend. And that was all she wrote for Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold has another opportunity this year to win the NFC West, so win his division, and then have the road to the Super Bowl go through Seattle in the NFC. So this is a huge, huge opportunity for Sam Darnold. And me personally, when I look at the Seattle Seahawks as a team, I love their offense with Kenneth Walker in the backfield, Charbonnet as the running back as well in that offense. At receiver, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba has had the best season when it comes to wide receivers in the NFL this year. No, I do not believe that Jackson Smith and Jigba is the best receiver in pro football. I still think Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the NFL, but Jackson Smith and Jigba has had a better season than Jamar Chase this year. Jackson Smith and Jigba has had a better season than Justin Jefferson this year. Jackson Smith and Jigba has had a slightly better season than even Puka Nacua this year. So to me, I think Jackson Smith and Jigba has had the best season for his NFL receivers this year. So they got Smith and Jigba. They got Rashid Shaheed, who they traded for earlier in the season from the New Orleans Saints. And I like the Seahawks defense. That Seahawks defense, they are elite. They're an elite unit. And I like Mike Macdonald, their head coach. He's a defensive mind at the head coach spot for the Seattle Seahawks. I like the Seahawks, but I have questions about Sam Darnold. I do. I don't know if Sam Darnold is the quarterback that can take you on a deep playoff run. I have questions about Sam Darnold. I watched that game a few weeks ago. Rams, Seahawks in Seattle. Matthew Stafford significantly outplayed Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold made some plays late in that game, but Stafford outplayed Darnold for majority of that game. I think Stafford had over like 450 passing yards in that game. Had over, I think, 3 touchdowns. Puka Nacua was balling in that game. But Sam Darnold struggled in that game. He struggled. Now, he played great late. Let me be very clear. Sam Darnold played great late in that Rams-Seahawks game. But for most of that football game, Sam Darnold struggled. And so, for me, I have questions about whether or not Sam Darnold can take you on a deep playoff run at the quarterback position. I think Sam Darnold has had a great season this year, similar to how he had a great season last year for the Vikings. But I still have questions about Sam Darnold in pressure moments. I do. Like, there are other quarterbacks who I trust more than Sam Darnold in the NFC. Like, I trust Matthew Stafford more than Sam Darnold. I trust Jordan Love more than Sam Darnold. I trust Brock Purdy more than Sam Darnold as well. I mean, it's just other quarterbacks who I trust more than Sam Darnold. But we'll see how he performs in this matchup tonight. But again, as a football team, Seattle is the real deal. They are the real deal, especially that defense. That unit, as a defensive unit, they are elite. They are elite. And I like the job that Mike Macdonald has done in his first 2 years as being head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. They replaced Geno Smith with Sam Darnold. That clearly was an upgrade. Because I said in the offseason, I'm like, I personally didn't feel like Sam Darnold would be an upgrade over Geno Smith. I thought Geno Smith was an average quarterback, and I felt like Sam Darnold is also an average quarterback. I think Sam Darnold now is a good quarterback. He's not elite, okay? Sam Darnold is not an elite quarterback, but he's a good quarterback. And I think he's had some really, really great moments this year at the quarterback position, but I'm not ready to say he's elite. I mean, there are other quarterbacks who I feel have proven more than Sam Darnold. But I like what the Seattle Seahawks are doing as an organization. Now, on the flip side, the San Francisco 49ers, to me, they have been the most surprising team this season. And Kyle Shanahan has done a tremendous job as head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. And the thing is, when it comes to the 49ers, there are friends of mine who are 49ers fans. And throughout the years, we as in the Packers have went up against the 49ers in the playoffs multiple times, especially in the Aaron Rodgers era. And the 49ers, they beat the Packers multiple times in the Aaron Rodgers era in the playoffs. I honestly don't recall a time where Aaron Rodgers beat the 49ers in the postseason. And then the first time when the Niners and the Packers went up against each other in the Jordan Love era, the Niners beat Jordan Love and the Packers 2 years ago. That was a game where I thought we were going to finally get over the hump and beat those damn 49ers. And so the 49ers have had the Packers number in the playoffs. And so obviously there are friends of mine who have, you know, joked around with me and made fun of me and laughed at me because the 49ers have beaten my beloved Packers in the playoffs many, many years. Sorry about that. A few technical difficulties. But let's get back to this Seahawks 49ers matchup tonight in San Francisco. So I was talking about the 49ers. And basically, I have some friends who are 49ers fans. They are diehard 49ers fans, just like I'm a diehard Packers fan. And so the Packers and 49ers have matched up against each other in the playoffs multiple times in the Aaron Rodgers era. And the Niners have beaten my Packers probably each time that they've matched up against my Packers in the Aaron Rodgers era. So much so it made me depressed every time we got to play those damn 49ers in the playoffs. And then 2 years ago, in the Jordan Love era, for the first time, we went up against the 49ers in the playoffs. The Packers had a second half lead against the 49ers, and Brock Purdy had the best second half performance of his career against my beloved Packers, and the 49ers came back and beat Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. And so, of course, I had to hear that from these 49ers fans. And so it was hard for me to actually come on here and say what I'm about to say, because I cannot stand them damn San Francisco 49ers and their fans. You know how most people hate Dallas Cowboys fans, like Bengals fans, hate Steelers fans, and a lot of Packer fans, they hate Bears fans or Vikings fans. No, I personally cannot stand them damn San Francisco 49ers fans. Their fans get on my damn nerves. But I have to be honest. The San Francisco 49ers have been balling this year. The San Francisco 49ers have been balling this year. They have been the most surprising team in the NFL because they are in a position to where if they win tonight, they would be the number one seed in the NFC, and the road to the Super Bowl would go through San Francisco, and there's a chance that the 49ers, if they win tonight, they will not have to leave the state of California at all because the Super Bowl is in San Francisco this year. So when you look at the 49ers this year as a team, they lost two of their best defensive players in Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. George Kittle has been in and out of the lineup with injuries. Hell, Brock Purdy has missed multiple games at the quarterback position as well. And their receiving core with Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall, they both have also missed games this year. And somehow the San Francisco 49ers are 12, or they might be 11-4. I think they're 11-4. They are 11-4. It might be 12-4, but they are 12-4, and they are in a position to where if they win tonight, they will be the number one seed in the NFC. So to me, because of that, Kyle Shanahan deserves NFL Coach of the Year. With all due respect to Ben Johnson, the head coach of the Chicago Bears, Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the New England Patriots, Kyle Shanahan should be the NFL Coach of the Year. And it should not be close. It should not be close. He should be the runaway NFL Coach of the Year. He should get 100% of the votes for the award. And if I had a vote, Kyle Shanahan would get my vote for NFL Coach of the Year. I believe Kyle Shanahan is the best head coach in pro football. Kyle Shanahan is the best head coach in pro football this season. When you look at the Niners and all of the injuries that they have dealt with as a football team, losing Nick Bosa, losing Fred Warner, having George Kittle in and out of the lineup, having Brock Purdy in and out of the lineup, I believe Kyle Shanahan deserves NFL Coach of the Year. and it's not close. It's not close. So it was a struggle for me to have to come on here and admit this, but these damn 49ers are balling, and they are having an outstanding season this year. They really, really are. And what's crazy is when you look at the NFC, this could be the 49ers' best chance to actually get back to the Super Bowl and win it this year. Because the 49ers have already been to the Super Bowl twice. They just couldn't beat Patrick Mahomes. But what's crazy is in years prior, I thought the 49ers had a better roster top to bottom than this season. But this season, this may be their best opportunity to actually make the Super Bowl and win it this time because Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will not be there. So, man, I can't say enough about the job that Kyle Shanahan has done as the San Francisco 49ers head coach. And Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, he's done a pretty good job as well with those missing key players on their defensive side of the ball. I mean, they lost Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, two of the best defensive players in the sport. And the 49ers defense, to me, they are not elite, but Saleh does put them in positions to be successful. And I think he's done a great job developing those young players on the defensive side of the ball. And offensively, they are really, really hitting on all cylinders right now. Brock Purdy has been balling. Brock Purdy's been balling. Last 2 weeks, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Brock Purdy. I think the last 2 weeks, Brock Purdy has played the quarterback position better than anybody in the NFL. Anybody in the NFL. And I'm somebody that's been very critical of Brock Purdy. But Brock Purdy has been balling in the last 2 weeks as a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. We already know how great CMC is. I mean, CMC has had a great season this year. I think last year CMC, the Niners wore him down, and I think this season CMC had more energy, and I think he's shown more burst as a running back and more speed compared to last year. I thought CMC was done after last season, but this season, CMC has arguably been the best running back in pro football. Seriously. I think CMC has played better this year than Jonathan Taylor, than Derrick Henry, than Josh Jacobs. Okay? So, man, those 49ers are balling right now. And I had to come on here and acknowledge how great of a season the San Francisco 49ers are currently having. So big shout out to Brock Purdy, who's playing the quarterback position at an elite level. Big shout out to CMC, who is the best running back in pro football this season. Big shout out to Kyle Shanahan, who I believe is the best NFL head coach this season. And that 49ers organization, they continually, every single year, have this team competing for a Super Bowl. Last year, they missed the playoffs. That was a one-off. But this year, they are back in playoff contention. And tonight, if they beat the Seahawks, the 49ers will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. And the road to the Super Bowl will have to go through the San Francisco 49ers. And they may not have to ever depart out of San Francisco the rest of the season. So big shout out to the 49ers, man. I got to show them love. And I can't stand their fans, and I can't stand them as a football team. But them boys balling this year. They balling this year. Everybody go follow Wise Guys on Twitter at Wise Guys_Wakes. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. Be sure to follow Wise Guys at Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. I'll come on here tomorrow and talk about the AFC North battle. Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Lamar versus Aaron Rodgers, Jim Harbaugh versus Mike Tomlin. I'll come on here tomorrow and talk about that matchup and give my prediction on who will win that game. Oh, by the way, despite the 49ers and how great of a season they are currently having, I am rolling with the Seahawks to beat the 49ers tonight in San Francisco. I think the Seahawks have a more complete football team than the 49ers have. But I think Brock Purdy's better than Sam Darnold. So we'll see if that can make a difference. But I'm rolling with the Seahawks to beat the 49ers tonight in the Bay, and the road to the Super Bowl will go through Seattle, not San Francisco. Those are my thoughts on these two matchups tonight. Panthers, Bucks, right now on ABC/ESPN, and then tonight in the nightcap. Seahawks, 49ers, ABC/ESPN, Sam Darnold versus Brock Purdy. We'll see who can come away with the win. Everybody go follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. I'm Trey Larkins signing off. Y'all enjoy y'all Saturday. Enjoy these two matchups in the NFC. Peace.